Welcome back, folks, to Injection of Inspiration, where every single Saturday I, Graham G.S. Matthews, inject you with your daily dose of motivational advice, helpful tips, etc., etc. So today's topic has to do with a mini anecdote, mini story from a few weeks ago, only about a week or two ago. Something that I told Jason about, so he's already well aware. So I went into work on I think it was a Tuesday, so just about a week and a half ago. I went into work on a Tuesday thinking I was working 11 to 4. And I go in, and I find out that it's actually 4 to 10 that day, or 4 to 11 or whatever it was, 4 to close, as opposed to 11 to 4. And the reason I got it mixed up was not because I have friggin', whatever it's called, dyslexia, and you mix up the words and the numbers and shit. The only reason I mixed that up, and that never happened to me before. I've been working at this place with Jason for 3 years now. I've never had that happen before where I switch up the shifts by accident. And the only reason that happened was because I thought I was working 11 to 4 on Tuesday and then 4 to 10 on Thursday. But I accidentally switched it, and I had 4 to 10 on Tuesday, 11 to 4 on Thursday. So that's what the actual schedule was. So bottom line here, I go in, I find this out 4 minutes into my shift or whatever. I'm like, oh shit. Fuck, so what do I do? And I got a ride in. I didn't have a ride back immediately. And that wasn't really the issue. I'm just thinking, do I stay here for 4 or 5 hours and then kill time before, I have to work at 4? Or do I just go home? Like, in most situations like that, people would be complaining, like, what the fuck? What do I do? I'm such an idiot. And I was an idiot for making that mistake. But at the same time, I'm thinking, you know what? I'm just going to go home and make the most of the time that I have. That's 5 hours right there. I mean, I could have seen a movie if I wanted to, but it's like, or done something along those lines, gone to see a movie, gotten lunch, what am I going to do to kill the time? And I'm saying, like, you know what, there's really nothing right now that I want to see. I'm not hungry right now, it's 11 o'clock, I won't be for a few hours. I'm going to go home and get some work done, which is exactly what I did. I took an Uber home, and for the next 4 or 5 hours before I had to get a ride back to work, I worked on an article, which I spent the entire 3 or 4 hours doing. And then I went back to work at 4, so it ended up working out really, really well. So I got the whole article done, and it went up the next day. So by the time I got home, I watched SmackDown, I watched 205 Live, and everything was right back on track, as if nothing even happened. I mean, the only real quote-unquote regret that I had was waking up at 9 o'clock, which I usually do for days like that. I had to wake up, I had to go in at 11, so I woke up at 9:30, had breakfast, took a shower, which adds up to about an hour for me, in addition to, like, posting shit if I have to post anything. And then I'm off for my day. Then it takes about half an hour to get to my workplace, so then I, go on for a half hour. I get there, and that's what happens. So wasn't too thrilled with waking up at 9:30, but my girlfriend wakes up at 5 and 6 every single day. So how can I really complain? That was my mistake. I fucked up. It's not on anyone else but me. So you got to take responsibility for your own actions. Just make the most of the time that you have available to you, no matter whether it's 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 5 hours, 10 hours, an entire day that you have off that you weren't expecting. Make the most of it. I mean, I talked about it before here on the show. This is kind of similar to a show I did a number of months ago, but be productive. Make the most of that time you didn't think that you would have. And if you only have a few hours left until you have to go to school or class or work or whatever it might be, an event, make the most of it. Try to cross something off your to-do list that you wouldn't have the time to do after you get out of work, you won't want to do when you get out of work because you'll be tired or class or school or whatever. Do it now. Make the most of that time that you're still awake and alert and you're energetic and you're productive. The more things you get done now, the less you have to worry about after you're done with work or school or whatever. Like I said, the less you have to worry about later. So might as well just do it now. You know what I mean? The more time you spend complaining, like, why did I do this? Why did this have to happen? Unforeseen circumstances are going to happen in your life all the fucking time, so why bother complaining about it? And I've talked about it before. There's a big difference between venting and complaining. So never think you're always complaining. To disclose that information, to vent, vent to someone about the mistake you made is perfectly fine, because someone's got to know, I guess. Or you tweet about it and that's it. You post the status about it and then you move on. But then, for the rest of your, the time that you have, make the most of it. Don't sit around twiddling your thumbs. I guess sitting down and watching a show or something is a perfectly fine use of your time. But, get your bills done or something like that. Clean your room, clean the house, clean the bathroom. I don't know. Give your mom a call. Give your grandmother a call. When's the last time you talked to them? You know what I mean? Do stuff like that. Make the most of the time that you have. And I guess that's really a lesson that can be learned, that can be applied to the rest of your life, not only situations such as that, but really the rest of your life. Make the most of the time that you have on this earth. And I fucking hate the phrase, life is too short. You know what? Fuck you. Some people's life is too short. Some people don't even get the chance to be born. Some people don't even have the privilege of living their life before it's ended for them. Or some people get in accidents as kids, as teenagers, even as 20, 30-year-olds. Their life was too short. Their life ended because maybe of something that was beyond their control. They didn't have a decision of whether they lived or died. So, don't give me that fucking shit, life is too short. Fuck you. Anyone who ever says that to me, anyone who has ever said that to me, I always say, fuck you, life is as long as you want it to be. You gotta make the most of it. Yes, life is too short for bullshit and to worry about this and that, which is true. But you shouldn't worry about that because life is too short. Life can be fucking 90 years old. It can be 90 years long if you want it to be. As long as you, even if you get, something that prevents your life from going longer, make the most of it, of the time that you have on this earth. Some people do not have the honor or the privilege or the luxury of living every single day like you do. Don't ever take that for granted. Make the most of the time that you have today. Make the most of the time you have this week. Make the most of your time on this earth. Cement your place in this world by making a difference no matter how small. Remember that. So again, I kind of turned a small anecdote into a bigger thing here today, but that's what Injection of Inspiration is all about, guys. Thank you for checking out the show. I thoroughly appreciate it. We'll be back, as always, next Saturday with an all-new installment. Till then, be sure to like this video, drop a comment, share the video, and above all else, subscribe to the channel for daily content. I'm Graham G.S. Matthews. Have an amazing rest of your weekend, and I'll catch your ass down the road.